Hey, before we do this, you need to tell everybody about the Fordland Castle
Oh,
thing.
yeah, I'm gonna tell them about that, that's all right.
Do that real
Okay,
quick.
do that before I forget. Okay, so Ruth messaged us all about the Fordland Castle, wanting to have a story.
Fordland, right?
In Fordland.
Yeah.
Did I get
Castle.
messages about that?
It was-
It was with
Yeah.
the mix of all the messages on the.
It was an all club.
Anyway, if you wanna do it, it's next Saturday, October 12th. It's from 1 to 11, they're gonna set about 9:30. And it's at the Chateau Charmant.
Chateau
Charmant Castle. And it's a benefit for the library, which is Webster County. I looked that up. Webster County Library. She's going to have up to about 50 kids, she said. And they're going to give us a table, and they're going to charge. They would like you to donate a book for the library and a book for a raffle.
Oh, thank
share
you.
books of-
I appreciate it.
read your book,
Practice
read
it a
mine.
couple times before so you can go.
So, yeah.
Who made this mess? Who made this mess? Okay.
I was going to ask you something. Oh, so my dust bunnies you've made, I've got the, what is it called, the PNG.
Mhm.
Is there a way I can make it where there's no color on him? Or can you
Oh,
make
yeah,
one
that's
where
what I
there's
was
no
gonna
color on?
No color on him.
Just the outline of the dust bunny of Gerald.
I could make one.
Could you
that's
make
just
one
an
for me?
outline.
Okay, just an outline, and then I can have coloring page for Gerald.
For Gerald, yeah.
What about my characters? My characters are more defined with, but they are colored in, and I did not get the
Just line
line
art.
art from him.
I mean, I can make line. I put it in Procreate and I make line art in anything pretty much.
Okay,
So,
let me see what I could come up with,
Yeah,
and then
send you
I might send you, how much you charge to do that?
I don't know. It'd take me about an hour,
Okay,
hour and a half.
what do you charge for an hour?
Usually about 20, 25 bucks.
Okay, I have to decide whether that's worth it. I'm probably gonna sell 3 books, and I'll make about $3 each.
It may not be worth it.
So
Unless
it's
you wanna
probably
use
not
it.
worth it.
But you can put it on as a downloadable,
Yeah.
free download on your website later. as,
Yes, I
you know,
could.
as a way of driving traffic to your
Mhm.
website.
Yes.
I mean, that's something you
Huh?
could do.
so when we did this, I said 8.5. Well, you've got to make it 8.675 to get your bleed. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't have you make that, so I was scared to death that we were going to cut off. So Canva has this thing where it says it's Magic Canva or something or other,
Mhm.
and I just click fill a page, so it would fill out here.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit, and then that got cut off when they cut it off, so that I didn't have to worry about this. My problem was I kept thinking the bleed, so I thought I had this white out here. I said, okay, they'll cut that one. No, you have to have the bleed all the way, because you're all the way to the edge.
Yeah.
And that's what was my problem when I kept saying, guys, I can't get this to work. I can't get this to work. But I finally figured out why it did. And my Canva account did open 2 accounts. Somewhere or another, I had 2 accounts open. And I saved it in the one. I would have never thought of that one at all. Somehow, somewhere along the line, it did that. I still haven't called them. I got to call them and tell them to take one off. But it worked. I mean, I had a lot of, it's a learning process.
It is.
When you get a second, I know you don't have a second right now,
Uh-huh.
but you need to make your author page. That's
Yes.
very important
Okay.
in Amazon.
That may be our next
Okay.
next meeting, author
We
page.
can do that.
So write that down.
That doesn't take very long.
Yeah.
No.
I was looking at it and thought I would, but I can't do anything till after
Yeah.
Monday. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
it's a lot.
that's what I went and got this, because Jamie said, listen, I thought you'd bring the one that you read that night.
Yeah,
So-
I've already missed, I think I'm still in a chapter
Okay.
somewhere else.
Well, so,
I
yeah.
hate that.
So, this is the story of the school that the top floor has disappeared. Second floor has disappeared. I call it third floor. And the characters in it climb this into the attic and find food and mats and all this stuff. Anyway, they decided to make a clubhouse. They made a clubhouse and they developed a clubhouse and everything. And then they started going exploring. They explored the gym last time and found they found a necklace when they were moving stuff to the clubhouse. They found a letter jacket. They found a diary in the clubhouse. They found a letter jacket in the gym. They found an old yearbook in the gym. So that
Have you decided on a title for the book?
Right now, it's what happened on the second floor. I have no- Or ghosts of the school, but there's so many ghosts
Or
in the
what
school
happened to
stories.
the second floor?
What happened on the
The
second floor.
disappearing.
I did do the research for a while till I got busy and had to get ready for this pumpkin day, so, I need to go back and start researching again. I haven't ever found out exactly what did happen. I know what happened, but nobody explains when or it happened and how it happened. They took it down.
So it's a true story.
So the truth, well,
It's a
this is not. This is a fiction based on the school where the true story was.
Based on a fact.
Based
That a-
on,
that
based
a
on the
floor
fact.
It becomes
disappeared.
historical fiction then.
Yeah, I could be, yeah. But so anyway, this is after they've discovered the gym, so messages. And they're supposed, hey Monica, hey Monica, wait up, Rachel called as she chased behind her down the hall to their next class. Monica turned around. What do you want? Rachel fell into step with Monica. Where's Crystal today? She seemed upset after the assembly yesterday. And the assembly yesterday, they had told them that they were going to tear the building down and build a new building. And Monica turned red. I shouldn't tell you, but she's home watching her little sister. Her mom had to work. Rachel leaned closer to Monica. I heard what she said yesterday. What do you mean? What did she say, Monica? Feigned innocence. I'm changing that. That's not good for her age group. That she was going to stop the people from building the new building. What did she mean by that? I don't know. She kept saying her dad would be mad when he heard the news about the building being torn down. Monica confided, honestly, I'm worried about her. She's been acting weirder recently. She continued, she's been angrier, picking on more kids, spreading rumors. I'm not very smart, but I think she's got some problems at home. So she takes them out on everyone here. At the door of their English class, they froze and stared at the chalkboard. Someone had written in squiggly letters, go away, leave us alone. Everyone started talking at once. Who wants us to go away, and why were they supposed to leave them alone? Who wrote this? Is it the ghosts? Mr. Sparks tried to quiet the room. Okay, everyone, let's calm down. Take your seats. I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of this. A few minutes later, Mr. Sullivan, the principal, came into the room. He took a picture of the chalkboard. Erase that now, he said. He left quickly. Mr. Sparks erased the message. Let's get going with our today's lesson. Class went as well as it could. Then came the horrible scream from the hallway. Everyone ran out in the hall. Susan was crying and saying between sobs, he was right there, the man with the messed up face. His face was so ugly. Mr. Sullivan came out of the office. Mrs. Todd, what's going on here? Shaking, Mrs. Todd answered, we were sitting out here and Susan was reading to me. She looked up for a minute and then she started screaming. All I can understand from what she is saying is that the man with the messed up face was standing down the hall. Susan, come with me. I'll get you a glass of water and you can tell me what happened. Mr. Sullivan ushered her into the office. Okay, nothing more to see here. Let's get back to class. Mr. Sparks and the other teachers herded everyone else back into their classrooms. After class, Rachel turned to Monica. That was weird, wasn't it? Thanks for letting me know about Crystal. Monica shook her head. I shouldn't have let you know. She's really mad at me. She'll really be mad at me if she finds out. She won't find out. Promise? Monica looked at Rachel's eyes. Promise, Rachel crossed her heart. So then there's a break. After school that day, the club members met in the clubhouse. They were all excited about the events of the day at school that day. Jonathan's eyes sparkled. Did you hear they found 6 more messages on the chalkboards? Getting a piece of paper and pencil, Rachel started writing. Okay, there was one in Mr. Sparks' room, Mrs. Swanson's, Mrs. Baylor's, and Miss Carter's rooms. Don't forget Mrs. Todd, Mr. Smith, and Miss Price's rooms, Katie said. Jonathan reported. One message said, don't tear down the building. Katie shook as she sat on the mat. Wasn't it scary when Susan saw that man with the messed up face? Who do you think he was, and why was he here? I don't know, but I hope I don't see him, Rachel confided. Don't worry, I'll protect you, Jonathan, flexing his scrawny muscles. The girls rolled their eyes again. how do we find out who the man was and who wrote the messages, Katie asked. Taking another piece of paper, Rachel wrote down the word plan at the top. We need to come here at night since that is when the writing is done. Are you sure we need to be here at night, Jonathan whined. Yes. What night can you meet? Rachel motioned to the others. Katie squeaked out, I can do it tomorrow night about 6:30. That will be after dinner and before bedtime. I guess I can be here then. Jonathan blew out the breath as he had been holding it. We can ride over on our bikes. Rachel wrote down the date and time and how they would get there. I don't have a bike, Jonathan stated. I guess I can ride my skateboard. Both girls rolled their eyes again. Then ride your skateboard. They fist bumped and then they checked the hole to make sure nobody was down there before they descended. See you. It's supposed to be tomorrow night. Rachel whispered to them. Tomorrow night. Should be there too. They jogged to their parents' classrooms, looking behind them all the way. They didn't want to see the man with the messed up face.
Okay, what year is it again?
78.
Okay, I don't know if people were fist bumping. At least they weren't in Illinois.
That's somebody else.
Oh, they did?
Okay. No,
Okay.
they didn't. They
Oh.
didn't. Okay. Yeah. So I take that. What line is that?
Did they
45.
Did they do high fives at that point, or is that?
I
later?
don't know.
Okay,
That's something I'll have to look
so-
at. I don't think so.
What did they do?
I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
They
The
might
okay
have,
sign.
they might have punched each other on the,
Yes. Did they
on
do? They did the
they might
yes.
have went like
Yes.
this.
Yes.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
Or
See.
just
Punchy
I'll have to
arms.
watch the
Punched
Brady
arms.
Bunch
Punched arms.
show. I don't know. And then somebody brought in last time I read the feigned innocence is not grade level appropriate.
You could ask Chat GPT,
ChatGPT. I'll ask ChatGPT.
say, what did they do instead of fist bump back in 1978?
Yeah, I could do that.
That's a good idea.
That's what
Great idea.
Chat GPT is good for, is silly stuff.
So we're
like that.
wrapping up to them going there at night.
Ooh, this'll be
Ooh.
fun.
Can't
Yeah,
wait
I
to-
hadn't heard this one before.
Yeah.
You can do a better tag on this line 1. Monica, hey Monica, wait up. Rachel chased behind her down the hall to their next class.
Take out called.
Called as she. Take that.
Okay, yeah.
And a period after wait up. I marked it.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I was thinking you could end it in a more mysterious way. Like, instead of they didn't want to see the man with the messed up face, make it a question. Would they see the man with the messed up face? And how do they get back in? I forgot. Do they have a key?
Well, they sneak in a window. They're not there yet. That's tomorrow.
Oh, okay, but I mean, they have to have a plan. They
Yeah.
would have a plan ahead of time, or maybe they wouldn't. But they
Yeah,
should discuss.
Yeah, they should,
something.
okay,
How
discuss.
will we get in? We'll figure out when we get there, or we'll climb in a window, or I don't know. What do kids do?
They
I never
do.
actually
They get
broke
in,
into
they-
anything when I was a kid.
The windows are old and they jiggle and they can get in.
If they're, okay, these kids are staying after because their parents are teachers.
Yes.
So if their mom says, go close that window, and they discover that it doesn't lock, then you've got a breadcrumb, and that's how they can get in.
Here's another way they can do it. Okay, at the actual school, this was over by Swedish American Hospital actually. It was called White back then. It was built in, I don't know when, 1895, I don't know. Anyway, they had a window. Okay, there were 3 floors because one was in the basement, and they had a window well that they had put an iron bar across. Okay, but the skinny little kids could slip behind. And why lock the window? And they open it to get air because there's no air conditioning, at least not in Northern Illinois in 1975. And why lock the window when nobody can get in
Right.
anyway?
We couldn't. Well,
Nobody
and
had
this
air
one is,
conditioning back
Crawled
then.
in there, so I could fit.
I got called one night because I was on another wing of school, but I got called one night from principal because the police and her were there because I'd left the window unlocked. And I said, no, I didn't. And they found out you could jiggle that window they had those, just let them down, locks. So, and in the next chapter, she talks about how she had overheard, so I can put that in here, the custodians talking about how,
Jiggling the window.
somebody's been in there because they can jiggle. Yeah, I found stuff on my desk, you know, they leave me notes and stuff when they got in. How are you, Miss Bailey?
Okay.
So that's why they thought I had not locked it, you know.
That's fun.
We used to climb on
But yeah, but I like the little bar, the bar. Adds a little more suspense to it.
Well, it was something that we actually did.
Yeah.
So, but that's also happened to you too.
You were obviously skinny enough to do that.
I was a skinny little stick when I was a kid. I was little, and I was like the second smallest kid in the class.
You're still pretty skinny.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Diana
yeah,
Utek was smaller than I was.
And you
Is that
remember her
it?
name.
We don't have
Well,
a bunch of tests.
Diana Utek. We shared a violin, and I handed her the violin, and it dropped, and part of it broke. And this is like 4th grade. And so it's always will go down in history. Was it me who dropped it or Diana Utek? So that's what
Wow.
if you remember somebody's name,
Thank
if it's, you know, forever etched in your mind, well, then that was your fault. But
Did you bring something?
I did not. I brought something.
you brought something
week.
last week.
You
Missed it.
You did.
Oh,
and it was
She
good.
would rather be here than where she was last
Everybody
week.
said it was good.
Yeah, I had COVID
Yeah,
last
COVID
week.
last week.
well,
Thank you for not bringing this.
I didn't mean
We
that,
did
to say that in
miss
an accusatory tone. I meant
No,
that
she was.
it
I
was an
know.
event.
It
Because she
was
brought
an event
something.
Because yes,
I
I know.
had been
never-
really
feeling
cute.
bad for like 3 weeks, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? And I had early on tested for COVID, and I don't think I had it yet. So, and I tested negative, so I thought, you know, I tested and I didn't have it, but then I kept feeling like crap. And I
Probably
didn't-
like being pregnant. If you test too early, they don't know.
I think probably. But then I finally got into a doctor, and they talked to me, and she says, "Well, you could test again." And so I did, and I mean,
They didn't test you. They sent you home to test again.
yeah, they before 5 minutes was up, because you're supposed to give it 15. Before 5 minutes up, I had that little pink line. I'm like, oh god.
Sounds like
Very positive.
It sounded
Sounds
like pregnancy. It did sound like pregnancy, but I'm just now today feeling, and this is 5 days after I tested,
Mm.
and I've been resting most of the time. Yesterday I went out a little bit, and I was pretty tired at the end of, in the afternoon. But today we went clear to Fort Leonard Wood and back, and I was not sure whether I'd come tonight, but I felt good enough. I thought, well, I'll come. So I'm making progress, feeling better. And
It
Is
takes
that
weeks to get
pointed
things
at
done.
you?
no, it's
I
pointed
hate to
at you.
say this because I just gave you a moment you have to edit out, but you know,
What about COVID?
it should be pointed at you because it's your station, it's your channel.
I'm gonna turn it around
Oh,
and
you're
let
gonna
you
do-
do it when I do my
well,
reading.
it's your turn.
It's my turn, and I'm gonna let you kind of.
Do you need to turn the mic around so that
Nah,
it hears
it'll
you?
be fine. It'll be fine.
It needs to back
Look
up.
at the thing and see how close it. I mean, I want it to be close enough that people can see.
Well, okay, maybe you need to tip it then because
Well, you can tip
this
it.
much is above the head and then we got this much table.
You can
I
bend
don't
it a little
know
bit,
that.
bend it up, back or forward.
And then it goes right back where it was. So what am I doing wrong?
Or
Is this
how
at
do you
this?
bend it?
Oh, it's one
There,
of those.
There.
You know, like that. It isn't a break.
Not bones, but maybe you should.
Did that work?
I'm not good at that at all.
I'm just gonna
I
put,
brought two.
You're
I brought
close.
2 chapters because I didn't know if there. I thought I could always just read one, but I got 2
Nobody
of them
else?
done between the man, since there's not very many people
I
here.
have a short
figured-
Frankie story too, so
I'm
tonight's
so
only
cool.
3
I'm
pages.
so excited that you have a Frankie story because I love listening to you read them, and we can have it on video, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
You should have been here last week, it was such a good one.
It was a good one.
Oh, the
Wish
case
I
of
had.
the disappearing eggs.
Oh, dang.
It was very good.
Okay, so this is right before the guys get to the point where they're going to see a guardian again. This is guardian. What did I call this? The guardian. I don't know. Something about the guardian is the name of this. This is chapter 64, and it's from Wes's point of view. Where is Poe? Poe is protectorate of the elite. So it's teenagers being chased by the protectorate of the elite and trying to do a quest. Okay. The next morning, We headed to our next stop to see the Guardian. Bruce and I studied the words and the history of the area. Man, St. Augustine is ripe with history, and not just about the oldest school and the Fountain of Youth. We hopped on one of the trolley-type shuttles that travel all over the town. It hadn't gotten too hot yet, and we wanted to go find the Guardian before it did. St. Augustine is a beautiful city, but the air was muggy. I've been told that it's better when you get to the boardwalk and get the ocean breeze. The schoolhouse is on St. George Street. It's a long street with all kinds of old architecture and shops. People were strolling lazily down the street as we walked to the schoolhouse. No one seemed to be in a hurry. I think it's how people are in the South. It's too hot to go anywhere too fast, so they just don't. All clapboard, cypress, and cedar wood made up the schoolhouse. Both woods have a reputation for lasting a long time. The building was nearly 200 years old. The old wood was gray and weathered looking. I can't believe Poe has not messed with us, I said. Don't jinx it, said Bruce. The day isn't over yet, and we haven't even seen the Guardian yet. I know, I was just prepared to have a rough time of it. Bailey grabbed my hand. Let's not borrow trouble, as my mom would say. The Guardian has to be somewhere nearby. We went into the building and looked around. A guy with a three-cornered hat came up to us and said, I'm your guardian and your guide. Are you ready for your clues? We hope so. Can we all do it at the same time, or do you need Bailey to do it separately from us? I asked. I think it will be okay if you do this one together. I've heard you've had a crazy time of it with Poe, a little worse than their usual way of interfering. Yeah, it's been pretty rough, and the day is not over yet. He shook his head. He was an older guy with little metal-rimmed glasses and a big honking nose. He had huge hairy eyebrows. He pulled out a scroll and read off the riddle. I guess that was going to be the format of all the clues, he said. I can change a room's air, or mean you're not from here anywhere, a mark that's uniquely your own, or someone who works, often well known. From ages past where dinosaurs roam, in each clue my letters have found a home. What is our answer? What is your answer, I should say. I looked at Bailey and Bruce. Bailey had taken out a pad of paper and written it all down. We need to take it all in one line at a time, she said. Whoa, this is the hardest one yet, I think. I checked in with Bruce to see if he had any clue in his head where to start with this one. Well, the first line is easy enough. It's talking about changing the room's air, so it has to be deodorized. Bailey wrote the word down next to the clue. The next clue is, or mean you're not from here anywhere, could mean international. I'll write that one down to see if it fits. The next one, for sure, is signature, I said. I could figure that one out. I've got it, said Bruce. I know what it is. You're always so quick with these things. My brain feels like mush. I rolled my eyes, wondering if I would ever get one by myself. It's superior intellect. We can't all think alike, he said with a grin. He enjoyed gigging me. I have it too, said Bailey. Do you want us to write it down and hand it to you separately? She asked. That'll do, said the Guardian. We wrote our answers and handed them to the Guardian. After looking them over, he said, You all have it. Here are your instructions and your talisman. He pulled out 2 scrolls and handed us each another symbol. We thanked him and headed out the door back to St. George's Street. Where do we go next? I asked. We put the talisman and the scrolls into Bruce's backpack. Let's head back to the hotel and change. We can get our swimsuits and maybe go do some sightseeing, said Bailey. Yeah, let's go see the old fort first, then go to the beach. Bruce slung the backpack over his shoulder and we started toward the hotel. A motorcycle came whizzing by, and a person on the back of a bike grabbed Bruce's backpack as they passed us. Bruce went flying to the ground as they ripped the pack away. Are you okay? Yeah, I'll be okay. Just got knocked down, but not out. We all stood there with our mouths open. Our hearts sank. We knew it all had been too good to be true. That was the end of 64. Let's see, 65. Don't worry about me. What we need to worry about is how to get that backpack back, I said, trying to keep the desperation out of my voice. It's not only had our next destination and word, but it also has our next talisman. This one is from Bruce's point of view. Excuse me. We'll have to look for that motorcycle. It's not that big of a town, said Wes. I wouldn't know where to start, moaned Bailey, as she slumped in defeat. I think it was a Honda, and it was blue. That's a start, said Wes, the worry clear in his eyes. Maybe we can rent one of those golf carts they have around here, I suggested. Let's go back to the hotel and make sure everything else is secure. We need the backpack, but we don't need to lose anything else. We should also call Uncle David and let him know what happened. Okay, said Wes, let's go. We hurried back to the hotel and checked everything in the room. It was all there, but I still felt uneasy. I'm not sure how safe everything will be, even in here, I muttered. Can we have the other talismans locked up in a hotel safe or something? I'll call down to the desk and ask if they have a safe, said Bailey, as she reached for the phone. You call your Uncle David and let him know what's going on. If the hotel has a safe, we can at least lock up the rest of the talismans. Okay, I'll call Uncle David. Wes pulled out his phone and called him. I went through all the talismans to make sure the ones we had collected so far were all there. Nothing seemed to be missing. Bailey hung up the phone. The hotel has a safe for valuables. Do you have a bag or something to put them all in? I need to store mine too. Sorry, yeah, I have a little zipper pouch we can put them in. I talked to Uncle David and told him what happened, his voice tense. He warned us to be careful when it comes to Poe. He was worried about us going and looking for them. Wes looked troubled. What else can we do? I snapped, feeling the frustration bubbling over. We need to get my bag back. We need those talismans and the next set of words and the destination. What else can we do? Bailey moved over and gripping Wes's arms. We were going to find them. We have a description, and we need to report it to the police and then get a golf cart and go looking for that motorcycle. If we find it, we can probably find them. I put all the talismans in the zipper bag, and we all headed down to the hotel desk. We watched the guy put it into the safe, and then he gave us a receipt for our stuff. I slipped it into my wallet with a silent prayer. If someone took that, they'd be taking me too. Okay, let's go find a cart to get around on. We headed out the door and found the place that rented the golf carts. I'm so glad Uncle David gave us enough money on this card to handle emergencies like this, I muttered. The first stop was the police station. We filed a report, giving every detail we could remember about the person on the motorbike and the backpack they'd snatched. Please call us if you find them, I pleaded. The contents of our backpack are very important to us. The officer looked at us sternly. Don't go trying to do anything heroic on your own. If you see them, call us and we'll take care of it. I exchanged a glance with Wes. We knew we'd probably try to take care of it ourselves. Then we got a map of the town and started our search. It wasn't huge, but it wasn't small enough to make it easy either. We buzzed up and down the streets, scanning every corner until we finally found ourselves at the old fort. I don't know why they would be here, but we've looked almost everywhere else, I said, feeling the frustration growing. Maybe they're here because they didn't think we would look here for them, shrugged Wes, the weariness showing in his eyes. I hate we can't enjoy the sights, Bailey sighed, her voice tinged with regret. Normally, I would be all about wanting to go see this fort and hear about the history. I know, Wes murmured. I hate it too. Let's park the buggy and get looking. I pulled the cart over to a parking area and we headed out on foot, peering around cautiously. Bruce, look over there. He pointed to a motorcycle parked in the lot. My heart leapt. We all headed over to the bike, but there was no one around. The realization set in like a weight on my chest. Well, at least we know they are still in town, I muttered. What should we do? Asked Bailey, her eyes darting around. I guess we could wait a while and see if anyone comes out to the bike. Is there somewhere we could watch without them seeing us, asked Wes, his eyes darting around. Not really, I replied, feeling the tension in the air. Let's just sit here and wait a while. If we see them come out and get on the bike, maybe we can follow them. We settled in, nerves taut, hoping for a chance to make things right.
All right. Who wants to go first?
One thing I really have to say is, I think they should chase after them and have it be fruitless and let them get away, and not just start talking about it.
Okay.
We should go
Sounds
take care of everything first and then chase.
Sounds like a good idea.
Oh, and yeah, they should hide at the end.
This
They can't
is-
just like, they aren't gonna just sit there out in the open, are they? They shouldn't. Oh,
They
that's
park
true. Are you a
behind a
plan, are you
car.
a pantser?
Yes.
Yes, you should, then, yeah, that's
I
good.
need them to hide, huh?
They should hide, because if they cut, unless, if they
I was
just come
looking,
out, it's like,
I did a looking at videos of the place, and I'm not real sure there is a place other than maybe they could hide behind a car,
Behind a car
or
or
something.
something like that.
Because the parking lot is away, a little ways away from the fort.
but it's empty, right?
No, there'll be some cars there.
Maybe
Okay,
a
I thought when you said
workman's
there's no
truck
one
or something
around.
like that.
No people around, maybe.
Okay, no
or the
people,
or the
okay.
people that belong to the bike. There was nobody around the bike.
Okay, no people.
No people around
Okay.
the bike.
Well, then they could hide anywhere. They could
Yeah,
hide behind another
They
vehicle.
could hide behind a vehicle
A
or something.
bush. Do they have bushes, or is it
I
too
can't
hot?
remember. It's been a while since I
Probably,
videoed the.
Well, there's
Oh.
3 of them too.
Yeah,
Have
I
to be a
watched
big
the.
bush.
There's you can get on the internet, and since I can't go there, you can go to YouTube and find tours of almost any place. So I did tours of the town. I did tours of that fort. I did tours of the school.
Wow.
I forgot about it, but I was going through stuff the other day and I found a brochure on the old schoolhouse from St. Augustine when we lived in Florida that we had gotten. I was going to bring it to you, and I just forgot to bring it, so I had to bring it. But it's a brochure. I know.
We went down to Florida this past year, and I really wanted to go to St. Augustine because we weren't that far away. But Richard was like, "I just want to go home. I just want to go home." And I'm like, "Oh well."
By the way, when it says a motorcycle came whizzing by on line 69 and a person on the back of the bike, it sounds like there's 2 people on the bike. Because
I think there is 2 people on the
okay,
bike.
well then later it says he, like there's only 1. But if they know there's 2, let's see, where does it say?
Then it becomes the infamous they.
Yeah.
Infamous they.
It's like I didn't underline that because I thought there were 2, and so I thought that was the thing to change. I'll look for it now. Them. No, that's right. Them. I don't know.
Yeah, I felt like that whole thing at 69 should be more dramatic, have more action. He can fall to the ground. He gets up and he's shaking.
Yeah, you
that
told
maybe
me that
they
before,
help
but
him up.
I need to find some other things that can happen. I did fix it a little bit, but probably not enough.
What kind
Take a
of parking
minute
lot
and-
is it?
Hmm?
What kind of parking lot is it? Because they could, how there's always grit.
Yeah.
He could brush that off because you always get that
He's
on your
got his
hands.
arms scraped up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bleeding.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I don't think the there wasn't a parking lot by the school
Oh,
that they went to.
Whatever he falls
Oh,
on.
wherever
It was
he
just
falls.
a road. It was just
Oh,
it's just
just a
like a road. It's
He's
just
still
like
gonna be
a
all skinned up.
cobblestone type road.
Cobblestone,
Oh,
or
that would
brick.
hurt.
A lot of them in St. Augustine are cobblestone. and
I think it was a
brick.
cobblestone road down that road.
Yeah.
Concrete.
Well, there should be mortar in between that, right?
Yeah.
Little crumbling mortar that
imagine.
could get stuck to his
It's gonna
arm.
be
he could
dirt
brush off
or
and
stuff from the
Burn.
trees, if there's
Yeah.
trees.
rug burn, whatever you'd call that.
Or scrape with a little bit of blood. And
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Kinda
Just
do
gonna
Yeah,
the,
he could
Just
shrug it
gonna-
off, be a guy.
Yeah, he's got it.
kind of close your eyes and try to see this whole thing in your mind like it's a movie. Like you're watching a movie and there's a chase scene and everything, and then describe that. Maybe even watch a couple of chase scenes with a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And they might yell at him, "Hey, come back here! He took
Yeah.
our bag. He
Yeah,
took
they
our
probably-
bag," something like that.
Or
Stop
maybe
thief!
one of them runs after them and the other ones are like, come back, come back.
At least the guys should run after.
Yeah.
Maybe not the girl.
Maybe
Maybe they should all 3.
Bruce got knocked down,
Knocked
so
down,
Wes
the other
could
one,
be.
Wes should run
She
after
could
him.
help him up.
because girls are like, oh, are you hurt? And the other one could take off after it,
Yeah.
That would work.
or whatever.
Is he the one she's sweet on too?
Oh.
Which one she's sweet on?
Bruce, she's sweet on Wes, and
Wes,
Wes would be the one running.
Okay.
She could still help.
I could
She's
switch
still
it so that Wes had the backpack and,
Yeah, you could do
I
that.
think that a little bit of romance thrown in.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That
that's
might
good.
not be a good
Are you
idea.
sure you're okay? Are you sure you're okay?
Good idea.
That would be good.
Write that down for me.
Write down romance.
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 Romance, or switch backpack to Wes.
Somebody got that? I like that.
I gotta get this thing done. I think they got a couple more places they gotta go, and then they'll be done.
You guys have no idea. I have been, okay, so I've been writing out the historical information. I'm trying to make it go right with his story so that, you can tell part, and then I throw in some history, and then, more of the historical information, and then,
It's showing you.
I don't take pictures.
Is it showing her now?
Yes.
Okay, so anyhow, and I'm trying to like nest that history in there, and I'll hit a point where it's like, I've got to have a reference for that. I've got to know the exact date and all of that. And so then I go hunting, and of course, do I have that particular information? No, it was in something that I read, probably in my ear, and I don't have it. So now I'm going on a hunt for that particular information, and I just envision this happening all the way through.
Yeah, rabbit holes.
Can you
Yeah.
just make it kind of vague?
No, this is like super important to the story. So anyhow, yeah, I'm getting it all down, and then I've got to go through it and rewrite it to make it a YA rather than, because right now it's very adult, like just like reading a history book. Nobody wants to read a history book when they're a high school.
I don't know.
Oh, back to yours. Okay, 138.
You said let's park the buggy, and I think that you're looking for something different for
Park the Cart.
go-kart, the game go-kart.
It was like a golf cart.
Like a golf cart, but.
I said park the buggy.
park the buggy.
You did.
I'm
didn't
like,
notice that.
that kept jumping on me, buggy. I think she means it's line 138, top of the list. And it's going, just,
That doesn't sound right. It doesn't even sound like something I'd say. I wonder if one of the, you know how
It's like soda
The-
and
the-
pop
the-
and.
the AI will make suggestions, and sometimes I'll click them, and I'm like, I wonder if that happened.
okay, so I brought that up too.
That's funny.
Didn't seem right. The go-kart or.
Yes, I always call, what do you call cart at the grocery store? What do you call it? Thing that you put in-
cart.
Grocery cart.
Grocery cart.
I call it the buggy.
we call it
People
buggy.
in England call it buggies
I call it the grocery cart.
or boots.
Travis
they
cart.
call a lot of things boots in England.
I think it's just because you can't understand them.
They call the trunk of the car a boot,
Yes,
and
I
I'm
know
pretty
that.
sure they call grocery carts boots too.
Ah.
Interesting.
Not sure though.
I did not know
I
that.
think boot comes from way back in
They have all kinds of really weird words, and I've been watching that the last homely house
Ah.
YouTube thing.
Oh,
and
the
funny how
Irish,
they-
the Irish.
She's
home,
in-
the
she's-
cheap
It's funny
Irish
that
homes.
homely
No,
means
this
the
is
homey dog.
this is the English lady, the last homely house, and she's got this thing where she's does all kinds of crafting and stuff, and she talks a lot of her words are like weird compared to what ours are, and
Yeah.
it almost takes a dictionary to
They say
understand some of it.
mom.
Mom.
And it's ma'am,
Oh,
but it sounds like mom.
Yeah,
And every time they do it, I'm like, is that her mother? Did I
no,
miss
because that's
something in the
mom.
plot?
That's mom. Mom is mom,
Mom.
and
Is mum.
right,
Yeah.
mom.
Mom is mum,
Mom.
and ma'am is mom. But when I hear it, I'm like, wait, is that her mother? Did I miss part of the plot?
That was a really important part.
That when they have an A on the end of the word, they put an R on it.
Yes.
And I thought, No wonder people, now I understand people in Boston,
Boston.
and even in Massachusetts where I used to live, they have R's on the, some of people have R's on the end of their words, and I'm like, that came from England is where that came from.
Oh,
It's
it's not
their-
that. She can do it.
Yeah.
Dayton will walk in and he'll poke his head in, he says, "What are you watching? Is it a Brit show?" And if it's yes, he'll say, "Okay, let me know when it's over." He just says they're talky shows, and he doesn't like them.
We
Not
put the
enough
words.
action. He likes things blowing up and,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of stuff.
We
Yeah.
put up closed captioning words,
We do that too, yes.
especially for people with accents. But I mean, the dogs get barking, or they're,
Yeah,
squeaking the ball.
When we went to the thing today, they had, I mean, all of the kids, I call them kids, they're all the young people that were entering the Army. They had about, I don't know, 100 of them. They say the way they graduate, they just say their name, where they're from, they go off the stage, one after another. And some of them were so garbled, and some of them were from South America and other countries and stuff. It was really weird. And a lot of them had such thick accents, I couldn't tell where
What they
they were
said.
from or what they said. Yeah.
I went when my brother graduated from boot camp. I don't know if he's in Georgia or where. We went there, and I think I must have gone with my dad because I don't remember going to a ceremony. And that's the way he always did it. He would show up, like for every graduation of ours. My parents were divorced when I was 2, and he would never attend a single ceremony, including my wedding. But he would come over after and like give you a gift. He'd be in town for it. He's not like late.
Yeah.
He was never late for anything. So he must have purposely made us miss this ceremony too. And I didn't even know there was a ceremony.
Yeah, there's going
I
to be
was
a
14.
ceremony for when he graduates from AIT, which is the school they go to. And it'll be at Fort Leonard Wood too. And we'll probably go to that too. It's in 6 weeks. But his sister and him both joined the Army at about the same time. And they're both going to be stationed in Fort Carson, Colorado, which is kind of cool that they get to both be in the same place.
That is
Makes
nice.
it easy to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice not to be completely alone when you're doing something like that.
Yeah.
Even though it's just Illinois, Oh, here.
Oh, you're
Good
done?
job.
Are you done? Were you done?
Yeah.
Not very talkative now.
I'm done.
Now
No,
have
I
to-
meant her. Was she done talking about it?
Oh.
Did we?
Yeah, I was done. Yeah, we got through mine.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when you said talking about it, I thought you meant my book. I was like,
Oh.
we did kind of break in and talk about my book.
No, I
You
didn't
got
mean
a
it.
splitting headache, y'all.
Oh.
Do not know why.
Okay. I'll tell you the
Get my
title.
reading
when I'm
glasses
done.
on.
There you go. You gonna tell us title ahead of time?
I'll tell you the title when I'm done.
When you're done.
They can put a man on the moon. Why can't they invent a square sausage so it doesn't roll around in the pan? Graham complained one morning while making breakfast. They don't cook properly and even seem to have a mind of their own, jumping around like they do. Sausages are the least of our worries, said Gramps. I was just out in the garden. I need to set up a scarecrow. Those pesky crows have been having a heyday. How could they have a heyday? Frankie said. We don't have any hay in there. I mean, they've been helping themselves to our watermelons. It wouldn't be so bad if they'd stick to 1 or 2. I don't mind sharing. But why do they have to peck at so many different pieces of fruit? It's plumb wasteful, that's what it is. It's a shame to waste food. Graham broke an egg into the pan. Frankie sat around a mouthful of kibble. I bark at those smug crows whenever I see them. Graham turned from the stove. Maybe you've been going about this all wrong. If you made friends with even one crow, he might spread the word to the others to restrict their watermelon eating to just 1 or 2. I've seen them out there in a crowd, gossiping. Frankie never took to crows, Gramps declared. Why would I take them something? Frankie asked. Don't we want to get rid of them? I meant you naturally don't seem to get along with crows. Nobody does. I've even seen them chase away other birds, Frankie said. Well, it's worth a try, isn't it? Graham asked. For the sake of the garden, I'll talk to them, Frankie promised. But after breakfast, when he went outside, there were no crows around. He headed for the garden, but while still far away, he could see the birds weren't there either. That's funny, Frankie said. What is? Although no one was in sight, Frankie recognized that voice. It was the sassy black cat. Usually there are crows around everywhere. Today there aren't any. Speaking of which, I can't see you either. Where are you? I'm under here. She stuck her black leg with its white paw out from under a nearby pine tree. I didn't know you were friends with crows. I've seen you bark at them in the past. Graham wants me to ask them to stop pecking all the watermelons and eat only one or two. The sassy cat laughed. They won't do that. They eat everything they can get their beaks on. But Frankie was stubborn. It's worth trying. Nah, save your breath, she said. Frankie tipped his head. Why? Will I need it later? I've got a lot of breath, see? He quickly breathed in and out. When the cat didn't answer him, Frankie went closer and ducked under the tree, peering through the branches. The cat was on her stomach, slowly creeping up the tree trunk. Frankie looked up, expecting to see a sparrow or a squirrel. The cat often slinked around trying to catch them, but he couldn't see very well. It was darker under the pine branches. He shrugged and crawled out from under the tree. Suddenly, the sassy cat yowled and streaked past him, racing toward the barn. Frankie was startled as he watched a huge crow flap overhead, dive-bombing the cat. It angrily called out, go away, over and over. Frankie stood there with his front paw lifted in indecision. Should he still talk to the crow? He'd never seen one do that before. He shrugged. After all, he couldn't really blame it. He'd chased that sassy black cat too in the past. As he scanned the sky to see where it had gone, suddenly, ping! He felt something bounce off his head. Ouch! Before he could rub the spot, he felt something hit his back. Ping! When he looked up, he saw a crow pulling off pieces of pine cones and pelting him with them. Hey, he said, I just want to talk to you. But the crow kept up its attack with the sharp pieces of cone. Yipe! Frankie tucked his tail between his legs and raced to the cabin as fast as he could. The crow chased him the whole way, diving at him, cawing, go away, again and again. Frankie ran up the steps, jumped through his doggy door, and landed on the rug inside. Graham and Gramps looked up in surprise at Frankie lying there, panting so hard that he couldn't speak. Gramps went over and picked pieces of cone out of Frankie's fur. What happened? You look like you were on the losing end of a wrestling match with a pine cone. Frankie wished he'd saved his breath earlier. He sure could use it right then. He just shook his head until he could finally talk. A crow attacked me. Looking like she was thinking that over, Graham tapped her chin. Did you ask the bird nicely about the watermelon? Nicely? It didn't give me a chance to talk. He told them what the angry bird did, first to the cat and then to him. We can't have any dive-bombing birds on the place. Let's investigate this. Gramps took an umbrella from where it hung on a coat hook, and he and Frankie went outside. It's not raining, Frankie said. I noticed. This is for protection. Gramps opened the umbrella and held it over them. Frankie showed in the evergreen tree where he'd seen the crow. Gramps parted the branches and pointed to some twigs loosely woven together. What's that mess? Frankie asked. That's a crow's nest. The bird who attacked you must have been a female protecting her young'uns. She saw you as a threat to her babies. Me? Asked Frankie. I didn't want to hurt them. I just wanted to talk. I guess you never can tell what a bird is thinking until you've walked a mile in her shoes. Frankie opened his mouth, but Gramps raised his hand to stop him. You don't need to say it. I know. Birds don't wear shoes. Neither do I, said Frankie, and if I did, hers wouldn't fit. They went inside and told Graham what happened. Anyway, I guess we can't blame her. Just stay away from her nest and you should be okay, I hope. I've heard this type of bird holds grudges for generations, Gramps said. Really? Frankie rubbed his head. Do you mean from now on all the crows will attack me? Gramps shrugged. Let's hope not. You just never can tell with crows. They're terrible gossips, Gramps said. I have an idea. How about we put out some food near her nest? We'll make it easier for her to find the food she needs to raise her young'uns. Gramps scowled. You want us to feed those pesky crows? Not all of them, Graham insisted. Just this one, as a kind of peace offering. Gramps shook his head. I never heard of such a thing. That's not how my granddaddy would have done it. Well, your granddaddy isn't here, and I don't want our little Frankie attacked by crows with an axe to grind. Frankie's mouth dropped open. They have axes, too? Yikes! I hope they don't drop one of those on my head. So every day, Gramps and Frankie took food to the evergreen tree and left it just under the branches. They never lingered, just placed the food on the ground and hurried away. A few weeks later, Gramps came into the living room, patting his pockets. I need to borrow your set of keys, Graham. I can't find mine. Graham got her purse and handed her keys to Gramps. Where did you leave them? She asked. Gramps shrugged. Who knows? They must have fallen out of my pocket and could be anywhere. They heard a clatter outside. Graham, Gramps, and Frankie stepped out onto the porch. Something on the rocking chair glinted in the sunshine. Frankie ran over to the chair, wagging his tail. Here are your keys. That's funny. I haven't sat out here in a month of Sundays. How could my keys have ended up there? Just then a crow flew by and landed on a nearby tree stump. Do you suppose, Graham began. Gramps chuckled. You don't honestly believe that a crow found my keys and brought them here to us. Maybe it was a thank you gift, Gramps said, for all the food you've left her. Did you see that? Frankie exclaimed, pointing to the stump. That crow winked at us. Gramps rubbed his chin. Well, I guess it's possible. You just never can tell with crows.
That is adorable. What's the name?
You just never can tell.
Good name for it.
That's good. I have nothing. It is
Me
so
either.
It's a
good.
good story. All the Frankie stories are good. I love the Frankie
I have
stories.
nothing either.
Do you edit your own? Do you send it through anything, or you just work on it till you've got it?
I'll
and you're
probably put
perfect?
this through Grammarly.
Okay. You like Grammarly better than ProWriting?
I have never tried pro writing, and this is what I noticed about Grammarly. It seems to have changed, and it seems to be like trying to rewrite everything I say
Yeah.
instead of just telling you what's wrong. So I might be using less suggestions because I do still want to sound like me
Yeah.
and not like Grammarly. And I know they're trying to make me sound professional, like I'm writing a
Right.
business letter.
Right.
Well, but a children's book, that's a thing I like about ProWriting. One of the things is that you can
You can
set
set
it as like casual, and then they'll give you an option that you can say children's book.
Grammarly
And-
might be able to do that. I don't know.
And you might check the
I don't have.
settings.
I didn't buy it. I'm using a free setting.
It
Yeah.
still might have settings that,
Yes, and another thing is that even when I write my cozy mysteries, I still want it to sound very casual.
Yeah.
I'm not a business letter.
Yeah,
writer.
and when I'm it'll all the time take a just out or really out, and I sometimes really want to say really or really want to say just.
Right,
You know,
and if it's your,
as long as I'm not saying it too much. You
right,
know.
you got some of them.
especially if it's a quote, somebody is saying it. that
Yeah.
You want
Right,
it to sound the
dialogue.
way, yeah,
That a person would
yes,
talk.
dialogue.
Right,
I just want-
conversation.
I just
That's the
want
way we
them
talk.
to know.
Yeah.
Instead of I want them to know, I just want them to know.
Right.
But, yeah, I came in on a
Did I
wing and a
keep that in
prayer,
there?
so I'm tired from that, and then I got up
I
today and did a lot of stuff for this, throwing me out trying to get ready for Pumpkin Days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to-
So is Pumpkin Days this
It
weekend?
starts
It's
half a
the
day, and it's
5th.
half a day tomorrow.
Oh, it
Half a day
starts
I-
tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow,
Ah.
and then full day, 8 to 6, 12 to 6 tomorrow, and 8 to 6
Well, I
on
hope
Saturday.
you have a lot of really good luck.
I hope you do
I've
just
sold
fantastic.
32 books, and I've sold 2 more last
You have
month.
sold
Yeah.
so many more books than I have ever sold of
Well,
anything.
and these are relatives and friends and sorority sisters.
my
and-
relatives don't buy anything of mine.
These are
No, mine
mostly
don't either.
teachers. See, and I have so many teacher friends.
See,
that,
that's
you
why
know,
we need to start collaborating and that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I probably
Of course,
have at
we
least
can
10
only
that are
do
going to
kid
sell
lit in
Pumpkin
here,
Days
but-
because people told me they're coming by for them.